Hello, everybody. We're on the bed again, and I wanted to make another video talking about 4chan and the 4chan hack. Primarily because last time I got a comment from somebody, obviously just trying to like troll me, and I thought it was funny. But then there were some thoughts that I started having, and I was like, I gotta talk about this some more, right? Because there was like all the information coming out about like all the leaks and everything, and people thinking that it was Soy Jack Party or it was actually Markiplier, guys. Guys, it was Markiplier. Guys. But regardless of who it was, um, the funny thing is that everyone is now surprised that 4chan was some sort of honeypot. What the fuck else did you expect it to be? It was so well known in mainstream. Of course it was going to be infested with federal agents. What else did you expect? Now people are trying to twist this and they like anti-Semitism, be like, oh, it was Israel. It was the Jews. It was the Jews, guys. No. The most fucking obvious answer is that there was bot farms in Israel because Israel is a puppet state of the United States. So of course, anyone that's over there doesn't want it to be on on homeland soil for like their servers and shit. They're just going to put them out there. It's cheaper. But let's think about this for a second. Of course, there was federal agents. One big surprise, but it's not this big thing that it's like, oh, we were getting you were getting fucking like tricked and psyoped this entire time. No, those were average users. You are on a website where most federal agents who are on there agree with you. That isn't. This isn't like some sting operation, but there is also that there is some parts that is. This is just like your neighbors. This is like the cookout. You are there at the cookout and you're like, oh, well, I think there's a cop here. No fucking shit, there's a cop here. You go to a Klan rally and expect there not to be cops? The cops believe in what you're talking about. But I say all of this to say that that just makes sense, right? Of course, that people on a racist forum are also going to be racist, and due to the prevalency of racist culture, people that are in high positions of power are going to be using this website to spew vitriol. Duh. But at the same time, I would absolutely say that there is also actual honeypot operations going on, trying to start and stir up certain things. Right? But to say that that's all on federal agents is completely disregarding the fact that what if the federal agents weren't there? Oh, it just wouldn't have happened in the first place? No, it would have happened anyway. Everything about the culture of 4chan would have happened anyway, given just how it started in the first place, right? And the twist and turn that it went from being a anime discussion forum to now being the thing that is associated with all sorts of bigotry and all sorts of other things. Now, I'm also not saying this as some sort of liberal who doesn't know about what 4chan is. I listen to 4chan stories all the time. I find them incredibly entertaining. But I also know that sometimes people on 4chan are just telling stories, like on the X board. But then I also know people are just the fucking worst, like it's on B, right? I've been around a while. I know the ins and outs of, at least, as you should know, the basics of things, right? Of how the website operates and its supposed anonymity. Uh, but yeah, like it's when you think about it, of like all this stuff about how like people are like trying to say one thing or trying to say the other, um, or saying that it's like absolutely has to be this way. You just have to remember that what this board is overall, right? Like, of course there's going to be feds, but of course those are going to be feds out there who believe in what they're talking about. All this stuff about like advocacy for violence would have happened anyway, right? I mean, look at Soy Jack Party. Is Soy Jack Party filled with fucking feds? Probably, right? But again, it's probably feds who believe in what's being told and what's going on, and then all the bad shit that happens over there. That's just what they believe in. That you can't just blame it on like whatever whenever you're actively typing on there and agreeing with everything. Clearly, there is something more going on than just, oh, the feds are brainwashing me to be hateful. Clearly, there was something there already for you to have been believed in most of this anyway. Uh, but yeah, it's crazy. It's stupid. Guaranteed 4chan is just going to be back up anyway, but it'll never be the same again, right? Uh, I really doubt that it'll be what people thought it was or what it once was. And also, I just want to say real quick that people are like now thinking about like anonymous, right? The anonymous, like the ethical hackers and everything. They're like, they must be feds too. Yeah, probably some of them did. Probably some of them did become feds. Like, we know that some of them got recruited, right? But the entire board wasn't like a fed up. It just was what it was. It was just the board. It was just the website. And then people came in and other things like that. And then other groups split off, right? To say that everything that came from it was feds, that means that you were also the fed as well. Every user must have been a fed. If everyone, if everything that was associated was federal, and this is just a shoe in for the word fed at this point, then of course you must also be one as well, right? But notice something with this is that most of these places were allowed to fester, right? Most of these places were just allowed to exist, right? No matter what you say of being like, oh well, what about them instigating violence and all this other shit? Like, okay, violence is constantly being talked about on all of these image boards and everything like that, right? But nothing is ever really done about it. But the moment that there is, say, like a leftist organization that talks about organizing and everything, that's whenever the boot comes down, right? Because as much as the right can shake status quo and threaten status quo, they don't threaten capital directly because they still believe in it, right? But whenever, say, Black Panthers organize, or say, Food Not Bombs, or anything like that, start to organize and stuff, then it has to be broken down. It has to be, broken apart, right? But all the fucking incels talking about lynching people and all this other shit, and like posting all of their stuff behind layers of irony and saying free speech and all this other stuff, that's fine. But the moment we're talking about like, hey, maybe we shouldn't be oppressed and we shouldn't be used and utilized for only wage labor and all this other stuff, and we aren't shouting about it that it's being caused by minorities, but it's actually just being caused by the capitalist class, the American bourgeoisie and the world bourgeoisie, that, oh, that's whenever it has to be shut down. That's whenever we're told to stop talking and all this other stuff. So it is what it is, right? That just means you have to organize. That means you just have to, be smart with who you talk to and everything like that. And you know, be careful out there, right? Don't get sent to El Salvador. Don't don't do that. That's a bad thing. That would be a very bad thing to happen to you. Uh, you don't want to end up like the Statue of Liberty from the CIA torture thing of the guy standing. Oh God. But yeah, that's about it. I can't believe I yapped for 10 fucking minutes about this, but yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I mean, really, if you want to know, like, do I think that this is a good thing or a bad thing? I really don't care. Like, Okay, 4chan is down. Wow, great. There is still places for them to organize. There are still places for like bigots and stuff to go and spew vitriol, right? Like, oh, one of the places was shut down. Okay, well now there's Shardy. There's fucking Twitter now still. There's all sorts of subreddits for them to go and do that on. There's all sorts of like discords and everything. Despite the fact that people are like, oh well, all these places they're filled with feds. No fucking shit. It's the internet. It's the most interconnected thing in the history of mankind. Of course, the most powerful governments in the world are going to try and, have their eyes on it in some way, shape, or form. No, duh. Okay, bye. I'm done talking.